So yes, reminded that it's Martin Luther King Day. It's one of my favorite holidays, and Martin Luther King is one of my heroes, and I appreciate him so much. And part of it is all kinds of reasons to celebrate him. For myself, I've put tremendous value in the people who have advocated for nonviolent change, dedicated to nonviolent civil disobedience, and the courage to do that against tremendous odds and violence, and what a powerful lesson it is for us that there's an alternative to violence. It takes a lot of courage. And I think that I'd rather not live in a world where the first choice to settle disputes is violence. So, hello everyone, and welcome to this Monday. And it's a holiday here in the United States, celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. And I think it's one of my favorite holidays for all the tremendous good that represents and the values that Martin Luther King stood for. And I wish we could have more celebrations of such values. So these weeks, the focus on these 7 a.m. is how to practice with challenges. And we're still laying down the foundation for doing so. And today, for the meditation, I'd like to suggest that one of the really important foundations for living with challenges, dealing with challenges, is our physical body. And I shouldn't say physical body, I should maybe say the body that we experience, the experienced body. I say that because the way we experience the body is a cooperative enterprise of the mind and the body. They participate in our sense, the way we experience our body is not separate from how the mind processes it and registers it. And this experienced body that we can feel and sense and know is not static. It's not as a lump of flesh. It's something that's dynamic and wise. And it's not just the recipient of challenges, like a victim of challenges. It's instinct. Its kind of nature is to respond and process and work with whatever is coming. And there's a tremendous movement in this body to homeostasis, to healing, to wholeness, if we allow it. And so when there's challenges, it's quite powerful to, especially like in meditation, to keep coming back. And how's the body experiencing this? And not only experiencing it, but how's the body processing it? I like the expression composting it. Feel what the challenge feels like in the body, but trust the body. Don't kind of just be the recipient and just kind of the person who's the burdened by whatever's happening. Allow the body to trust the body, trust how the body, make room for the body, feel it in the body. And there's a number of things that can happen. One is that they can be very grounding. It's very easy to get ungrounded, uncentered, disoriented by being in our thoughts and stories and ideas and spinning around. And being in the body is an alternative for being repetitively lost and caught up in the spinning mind. So being in the body is grounding. Being in the body gives us a more sensitivity to what's really happening there. If that sensitivity, what's happening there, is too much for our degree of sensitivity, then it's useful to move the body. Let the body's movements allow things to be easier to be with. And for people doing mindfulness practice, the two meditation practices that are embodied practices is sitting meditation, where we really feel it's all here, but if it's too much, then to stand up and do a walking meditation. And let the walking be the movement that holds it all, perhaps. There's more to be said like this, but this is the basic ones. And but keep referring back to the body. Refer back to the body. Let the body be the center. And don't ignore everything else. But see if the body, if you trust the body, if the body can somehow make space, make room for the challenges you're feeling within. So the trainings, a huge training in mindfulness, a training in mindfulness of the body. Awareness, embodied awareness. So that's what we'll do today. So taking a meditation posture. And this posture we take is such an important resource, support for how we can be with challenges. To take a posture that expresses confidence, expresses a kind of, I can do this. Dignity, value, confidence in the posture. Even if you don't feel confident, it's possible to assume a confident posture. And that makes a difference. And then to gently close your eyes. And to begin inhabiting the body, discovering the body, to take long, slow, deep breaths. Feeling the rib cage stretch and expand as you breathe in deeply. Maybe expanding of the belly. Maybe a lifting and expansion of the back rib cage. And as you inhale, then as you exhale, let it all relax. Letting your breathing return to normal. continue to relax the body in the exhale. And as you relax it, let that be an occasion for sensing and feeling more fully the area that relaxes. Feeling it and sensing it with a silent mind. On the exhale, relaxing muscles of the face. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the belly. Relaxing your legs, thighs, calves, so that you're not fighting gravity. You're going along with gravity, so your legs, feet feel more grounded on the surface that supports them. And then gently become aware of the body breathing. Imagine the sensations of breathing in the body is the center of all things. And you stay close to that center. Staying close to breathing. Around the edges of that center, through your body. How are you? Feel your way into how you are right now, while being centered, breathing in and breathing out. In whatever way you are, feel it, how it is in your body to be this way. With breathing being a gentle massage or a gentle stroking, touching how you are in the body. But staying primarily with the breathing, so you don't get lost in concerns about how you are. And if anything takes you away from your breathing, that concern or preoccupation, is there any correlation, any way that has shifted how you feel in your body? Know the distracted mind physically. Know your emotions as they appear physically. Trust the body. Feel how it is in the body, whatever is happening. A sound outside. What's happened in the body? Feeling the body while continuing to breathe mindfully. Trust that the most important thing now is to experience your life as felt by your body. And perhaps that's a protection from spinning out in thoughts, even a protection from fear, becoming too strong. And if there is fear or distress in the body, feel it as long as it's comfortable to do so. Or feel elsewhere in your body places of stability, spaciousness, calm that can support you with a challenge. imagine for the last 5 minutes of the meditation that your body has a tremendous confidence to be present for itself, to feel its embodied existence and all the sensations and emotions and activities. The body can sit still and quiet, process it all, allow it all to be, allow it all to move. Sit with this embodied confidence, with the mind starting to become more quiet and still. As we come to the end of this meditation, to bring your attention in your body to where there might be a tenderness or a gentleness, maybe where there is love or care, goodwill. And how does that live in you? How do you feel this in your body? Is there some way that you can, for a minute or two here, make room for kindness and goodwill towards others? An embodied sense of kindness, gentleness, attentiveness. And to wish, to have well wishes for others, no matter who they are or where they are. It would be nice if they could be safe and happy. Even our enemies might be nicer to everyone if they were safe and happy and peaceful. May we share this human life together, offering our goodwill, sharing it with everyone. Perhaps we never know, we might be planting seeds of goodwill and kindness all over, wherever we go. Who knows how they will sprout after we're gone. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings everywhere be free. Thank you. So good morning or good day. And we continue this ongoing series on practicing with challenges, and any challenge at all, from the minor to the extreme. Though the extreme might need extra care and attentiveness and kind of a specialty to it. So, but maybe we'll get to that later in this ongoing series. But we're laying down the foundation now, and the elements that are really helpful for being able to address whatever challenges we have. So today, this week, I want to focus on what's called the 4 foundations of mindfulness. I think most of you know what they are, and I've taught about it here before. The body, feelings, mind states, and mental processes. And how they can be a tremendous support, foundation, kind of a grounding for working with challenges. And to introduce this idea, I want to tell you a Buddhist fable, kind of a tale, that of, it's kind of like the Chicken Little and the sky's falling. There was a rabbit in the ancient world who was sleeping, taking a nap under a mango tree. And at some point, a mango, big mango from high up in the tree, fell on the ground right next to the head of where the rabbit was sleeping. And with a big bang and a shake woke the rabbit up. And the rabbit immediately assumed that the sky was falling. So the rabbit jumped up and started running away, yelling, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." Came across a school, the whole herd of rabbits. And when they heard that the sky is falling, they started screaming and running along too. "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." And they went further and they came across a whole bunch of deer. And the deer heard about this and they started running too. "The sky is falling." And they went further along and they saw the water buffaloes, and the elephants started, and everybody started running, all of them thinking they had to run fast because the sky was falling. And high up on a mountain, on a cliff overlooking all this, was a lion. And the lion could see that this huge mass of animals was running right for a cliff and would kind of fall right off if they kept running at the speed. So the lion kind of quickly got in front of them, jumped in front of them, and roared and said, "Stop." And he asked, the elephants, "Why are you running?" "Oh, because the water buffalo said the sky is falling." Asked the water buffalo, and they said, "Oh, it's because of the deer." And the deer said, "Oh, it's because of the rabbits." And then, why were you running?" the lion asked the rabbits. And all the rabbits looked at the first rabbit and said, "Well, we heard him say that the sky is falling." So then the lion said, "Well, let's go investigate. Where were you sleeping?" So they went to investigate, went back to the tree, and there, right next to where the rabbit was sleeping, was the big mango. And everyone realized that there was no sky falling. It was just a mango that had fallen. So in this Jataka tale, this birth story, the story that goes, the Buddha was the lion in a previous lifetime. But the important thing was this idea of knowing to investigate. And if we don't have the mind's capability to investigate what's happening, then with challenges, we're kind of sometimes caught up in the swirl and the agitation of it all and the preoccupation and more importantly, the assumptions we have around what's happening, the concepts, the abstractions, the future, the plannings, the predictions, the kind of all kinds of fixed ideas about who we are and what's happening to us. And so the ability to stop before we go over the cliff and investigate, take a good look, what's happening here, requires knowing where to look. Where is the grounding? Where is the useful places to bring attention? And so the Buddha offered these 4 areas, what's called 4 foundations, 4 establishments for mindfulness. And so when we're in challenges, we can check in with ourselves. uh, how are how are these particular areas being experienced? How is it being felt in the body? Is this pleasant or unpleasant? What kind of mind state is operating when I'm caught up in this, involved in this challenge? And what are the mental processes that are reacting and to the challenge? And what are the mental states that are supportive of being with this challenge in a better way? So those four areas is an alternative to the abstractions we live in, the big stories and predictions and ideas that are generated by fear and by anger and by confusion. It's a particular subset of the total whole gestalt of it all, a gestalt which is often infused with imagination, with assumptions, with predictions, with thoughts and beliefs and ideas about self. And some of the ways that we enter into challenges actually limit our ability to do it wisely. Actually, part of what makes the challenge so much more difficult is the ways in which our inner life responds to it and lives with it and is confused by it or caught up in it and all that. And because that's so much of the challenge is not the challenge out there or the challenge, but rather what we can call the challenge, but rather how we are in relationship to it. It's so powerful to do the mindfulness check-in. Check in with ourselves. Go through the checklist if you like such things. Okay, this is challenging. Now how is this being felt in the body? What is activated in the body? Where am I tense in the body? Where am I contracted in the body? Am I even connected to my body, or am I disconnected to my body with all this? What's happening here with the body? What's happening with the feeling tone? Is this really unpleasant? Is it really pleasant? More than a physical experience, the predominant experience is the unpleasantness of it all. What's happening with the mind states? That, is the mind contracted? Is the mind filled with desires and greed and wanting something so desperately, needing something so desperately? Or is the mind angry and blaming and upset and guilty, all the kind of forms of aversion? Is the mind confused, perplexed, lost? Is the mind narrow and tight? Is it expansive and open? How's the mind state? And then the mental processes. Are we operating with the hindrances? Is there ill will? Is there sensual desire or covetousness? Is there sloth and torpor? Is there agitation, restlessness, remorse? Is there doubt? Or is there calm? Can there be calm here? Is there mindfulness? Can there be mindfulness here? Is there curiosity and investigation? Is there joy? Is there tranquility? Is there some ability to stay focused here and centered, concentrated? What about equanimity? So as we do this check-in, we can discover which of these predominates. And sometimes what predominates, which of these four needs most attention. We're gathering the information together about how we are so that we can know how wisely to respond to the situation. This presupposes we do this check-in not in the middle of a traffic accident, in the middle of having the accident, when we have to take care of things, but we're doing it when we can, like in meditation, or when we're not right in the middle of the fire of a challenge that we have to put out the fire. Other times, do the mindfulness check-in and notice which of these four predominate. Know how they operate. Then you're in a better position to respond and know what to do after the check-in. And the check-in can go quite quickly, and it might be the response is to go for a walk or call a friend or do something really nice, or it might be to go to bed and put the sheets over your head. It might be all kinds of things that you do. It It might be to go meditate. But you're gathering the information to see how it's happening here. And you're breaking the trance of the mind's kind of overall picture and fear and concern of what it is. You're beginning to break that caught upness in the assumptions and the sky is falling kind of attitude. It's very respectful to do this kind of check-in, to really get underneath the surface of the assumptions, the beliefs that are operating with it all, to find out what's happening here. And then based on that, deciding what to do. But if what you're doing is mindfulness, like mindfulness meditation, then as we see which is most predominant or which is most in need of being really present for. And one of the defaults that is many times is useful, not always, is to stay close to how it is in your body. Feel the embodied nature of it. What's happening in your body? Trust the body. Don't treat the body as a static victim or just a receiver of experiences. It's a participant in experiences. It has its own wisdom. It has its own goodness. Its own what it brings to what's happening. If we allow it, if we make room for it, if we're willing to kind of drop into the body, get centered, grounded in the body, and then let the body process what's happening. And some of this is because when we're challenged, can be a lot of reactivity, a lot of tension and tightness and contraction in the body. And so by feeling the body wants to relax. And as we allow ourselves to feel it, it's kind of like we get out of the way. We're not continuing to direct the tension from the mind to the body. The mind is letting up, so the body has a chance to relax. So the mindfulness check-in, it's a way of changing the perspective of what's happening for us that's useful to do at the right time. As I said earlier, when we're not right in the middle of having to deal with something, but when we take it home with us, or when we're more in a quiet situation, and maybe there's a time and place to do the mindfulness check-in, the 4 foundations, and see what you learn from that. And so for this week, we'll go through this checklist. We'll go through and see how to use these 4 foundations as a way of bringing a useful perspective to our lives when we're challenged. It's an alternative perspective than maybe the perspective that we usually bring. And by doing the checklist approach, this other perspective, it might highlight for you the perspective that you were bringing. You might then see it more clearly, and maybe see that some of the perspectives, some of the assumptions and beliefs that go into how we respond and see a challenge maybe are optional, provisional, not needed, that actually interfere with our ability to be wise and how to care and take care of challenges. So, mindfulness checklist. So for the next days, we'll go through these 4 and emphasize the value of each one. And tomorrow we'll do a very important topic, the 4 challenges, which has to do with mindfulness of the pleasant and the unpleasant, where the pleasant actually has a very important role. So thank you, and may you go through the checklist today periodically and see what it does for you in different circumstances. Thank you.